Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about Summer House Season 9, Episode 11. And this was a really good one. I feel like this is the best episode we've had in a really long time, so let's do it. So Jesse and West are driving to the house together, and Jesse says that Lexi told him he should want to change his behavior for the sake of their relationship. And the way he's having this whole conversation, I'm so sick of him pretending like he's so clueless as to the way he's acting. He's like, yeah, Lexi says I should want to change. Like, he's so confused about why she would say that, as if he has like nothing he needs to change. And then he says in the confessional, he's like, I've been unfollowing hot girls on Instagram. I told Sierra she's not allowed to touch my arm. Like, I'm making progress. Then Carl calls and reminds them that Schwartz is coming over this weekend. I forgot Schwartz was coming over this weekend, so I was like, oh boy, here we go. We do need a warning. Anytime Schwartz is about to show up, we do need a warning, so I appreciated that. Back at the house, Amanda says that she announced her swim line on social media this week and it went really well. Jesse made a thirsty comment, of course. He said something like, obviously, I can't wait to see the final products. I honestly haven't checked out Amanda's swim line. I know it's out. I think it came out semi-recently. I think it came out like a couple months ago. And I feel like the swimsuits, just like from the limited number of pictures I've seen, I feel like they're cute. They're a little basic. I feel like it's kind of giving airy Target sort of style, which is like, I guess I wouldn't expect anything more from what's essentially an influencer brand. But yeah, I haven't seen any reviews. So if you've tried out one of her swimsuits, let me know, because I am always looking for the perfect bikini. I feel like as a size 8 woman, it is so hard to find a bikini that's actually flattering. So if you've tried her bikinis, let me know what you think. Schwartz arrives. He pulls Carl and Kyle aside and he says it's a special weekend because it's the first time he's been able to hang out with everyone without being embroiled in controversy.
This is a special one for me. I don't want to get emotional here, but I'm not secretly divorced. I'm not mired in controversy.
Has it been the longest week of your life?
Pretty much. I have like the scarlet letter. I had to extricate.
The vibes are good here.
The vibes are plentiful. No, I'm not bleeding from any holes.
Yo, homie.
I'm going to the hospital.
Dude, it's killing me. Really bad.
What?
Dude.
You know, I think this season of unemployment for him, this season of his life where he is not a main character on a reality TV show, will be good for him. I think maybe this is what he belongs as, just a professional friend of. Maybe he pops in and out for a weekend here and there. Maybe he's on Summer House. Maybe he does like Traders or something like that. And then he goes on his merry way and he lives most of his life off camera. I feel like that's probably what would be the best path forward for him. Sierra didn't know Schwartz was coming. She shows up and she's like, what are you doing here? Which is so funny because imagine going for a weekend away and you open the door and you see a surprise Schwartz. Like, I personally would want a week to mentally prepare to have to hang out with Schwartz for a weekend. Jessie goes to hug Sierra and she kind of leans back and goes, hey, let's do a fist bump.
For like a split second, I saw
Hi.
West and you driving by.
Let's fist bump.
Rude.
You told me not to touch you. Make it make sense. I'ma swerve you too.
Good for her, honestly. I mean, Jesse's acting, he's like, rude. He's acting like he's so scandalized by that. This is what you wanted. This is what you told her you wanted to be acting like. And then in the confessional, Sierra says he's worried about her touching him. Meanwhile, he should really be worried about where he's putting his toe. It's like, yeah, how does it always comes back? It always comes back to the woman with him. It always comes back to like, oh, well, this is what Lexi's saying and Lexi's being crazy. And like, oh, well, Sierra needs to stop touching me. Sierra needs to be doing this. How about what you need to be doing? Think about where you need to be putting your big toe, who you need to be touching. Like, why does it always fall on everybody else to behave, but you could just do whatever you want? The guys and girls are separating for the night. The guys are gonna go out and then the girls are gonna stay home and have an arts and crafts night for the slumber party themed party they're having tomorrow. Imrul and Paige aren't there tonight. Imrul, God bless his spirit, his absence is not felt. I don't think anybody cares that he's not there. Imrul, I don't think is there for the entire weekend because he doesn't show up the next day for the slumber party either. I don't think anybody cares that he's not there, fans or Summer House crew alike. Did you actually see with Imrul that I guess after the reunion, all of the guys from Summer House and Andy, after the reunion taping for this season, they went out to dinner except Imrul. Imrul wasn't there. And everyone was kind of wondering, wondering, like, oh, does this mean Imrul isn't coming back next season? I feel like we don't really even need that to know whether or not he's coming back next season. He's definitely not. But Imrul wasn't there, and everyone was like, oh, that's so shady. They all went to dinner without him. And I think Imrul kind of gave a non-response response. I think he said something very vague along the lines of like, oh, there's no beef, everything's good. I'm just happy I could use the show to promote my English language school in Bangladesh, which is like amazing. I don't know if you saw that he opened an English language school in his family's hometown in Bangladesh. Very, very cool. But it felt like a goodbye message to me. It felt like he was sort of like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't care about being on this show at all. I'm just happy I could use it to promote the good work that I've been doing in my hometown, and that's it. So I don't know. Everybody insists that it wasn't shady, and I don't think it was shady. He probably was just busy and didn't care too much about networking at this dinner. Jesse tells the guys at dinner about curving Sierra at his cancer event, and then he tells them that she curved him today at the house. And Kyle's like, listen, Sierra wasn't the one who told Lexi that you were flirting with other girls at the party. So maybe you should have set your boundaries in a more respectful way. Like maybe you need to actually just be communicative with her instead of like beefing with her, because she's not the one that you have beef with. Then West asks what the most niche porn category everyone was into was, and Carl says he went through a phase where he used to just look up tan lines. Listen, West cannot stop laughing, which is like, yeah, I would also be laughing. That is so funny. Yeah, I mean, I've always known that like guys thought that tan lines was really hot, but imagining Carl like in his bedroom going through a phase where he's on Pornhub just looking up tan lines, I was like, I agree with West. He goes, that is the most Carl thing ever. It's like, yeah, Carl has really makes you reflect on how much he's changed over his time at Summer House. He used to be so freaky and such an F-boy and so weird and like just kind of a menace. And now he's just sort of like that weird, quirky, middle-aged guy at the house who's very much not cool at all. He's totally not a cool guy. He's so nerdy. And he goes on Pornhub and he looks up tan lines, which is, yeah, that's that on that. Amanda, I think, is talking to Lindsay or Gabby. I don't know who she's talking to. But she says that Jesse keeps bringing up things that he's worried about regarding Lexi to the other girls, which we know that. We've seen that. He's been doing that all season. And she's starting to get to the point where she feels like she's talking about Lexi behind her back. And she's like, you know, if it was Paige dating a guy and the guy she was dating was telling me all of his red flags about her, I would immediately be going to Paige and telling her. So I'm starting to feel really weird about all of the conversations I've been having with Jesse. And I agree. I definitely think it's like, you know, when Lexi first came to the house, I mean, it was, her story is that she's friends with Amanda, like they met at a party. But, you know, let's be real. I don't think they were actually friends before she showed up to the house. And even if they were, it was a very distant friendship. Like Amanda was always closer with Jesse. But I feel like at this point in the summer, they've spent several weekends together. Amanda and Lexi are becoming real friends. And I think it's getting to the point where Amanda's like, okay, Jesse, you and I used to be closer than I was with Lexi. So this kind of like talking about your relationship felt more normal. But now that I'm getting close with Lexi, it feels weird. It feels like we're gossiping about her and she's my friend now. So that does make sense. I think I would also feel the same way. Paige FaceTimes in with Sierra and Amanda the next morning, and in the confessional, she says she hasn't felt like herself for the last couple of months. And the reason essentially why she wasn't there the night before for Arts and Crafts night was she was basically taking a mental health day from the show. She was just like, I can't be there right now. I need to be alone. And in the confessional, she says she's getting to the point where her hands are numb. She's like, yeah, you know, I used to not think I needed to see a psychiatrist or a doctor or anything like that, but it's getting to the point where my hands are numb, and obviously things change after that. And that's like a very concerning, if I heard one of my friends saying that, I would be very concerned. And when she says that, I'm not clear if she means physically, it's a physical issue, like her hands are getting numb and she doesn't know why, or if she's so anxious that her hands are getting numb. I didn't know that that was possible, to be so anxious that you lose feeling in your extremities, but I would believe it. I feel like anxiety does weird things to your body. She needs to just break up with Craig. Listen, like if I'm getting to the point in my relationship where I am so anxious and upset about it that it's causing me physical harm, it's time to leave. I don't know what clearer sign there could be to end your relationship than that. But yeah, that's scary. That's not normal. I love how dedicated Sierra is to the themed parties. Like when they're decorating for the slumber party, she is so locked in. And she's telling Lindsay what to do with the big curtains. She literally looks like a professional event planner. She would be so good in that line of work. Jesse and Lexi, while all of this is going on, they're sitting on the couch and Jesse tells Lexi he's in a bad mood because Sierra's being weird towards him. That is not what I would want to hear as a girl that he's dating. It's like Sierra is essentially the girl who Jesse told him not to worry about. And now they're sitting on the couch and Jesse's concerned because he's like, yeah, Sierra's being really weird towards me and I don't know why. That's not something that I would want to hear. Like, why are you so concerned about the girl you told me not to worry about? Now Amanda's talking to Lexi outside and she just tells her everything. She brings up the things that Jesse has said to her about Lexi asking him not to comment on women's photos on Instagram. And then she also tells Lexi what Jesse told them at Carl's soft bar soft launch party about like, oh, Lexi noticed that I was following these women and then she told me to unfollow them. And then she said, oh, thank you for unfollowing them. And Lexi is shocked. Lexi says none of that is true. And she was like, you know, with the whole following girls thing, it was after Toegate. She calls it Toegate. And she was like, I get a lot of DMs from people who are telling me all of the red flags that I need to be looking for with Jesse. And that, combined with Toegate, made me realize that maybe I need to pay more attention to what he's doing on social media, which I don't blame her. I mean, listen, I am not a girl who tracks her boyfriend's social media usage, but any guy can make a woman crazy if he's manipulative enough or if he's just, you know, not loyal enough. So it's like, yeah, if Lexi is saying normally that's not something I would do is track you on social media, but you're doing all of this stuff to make me not trust you, yeah, now I'm gonna go on your social media because I need to know what's going on. That makes sense to me. And she's like, listen, I don't mind if Jesse comments on his friends' pictures. I want you to hype your friends up. Just be more respectful about it. How about instead of saying, you have the most beautiful tits I've ever seen, you're the hottest woman in the world, oh my God, you're such a smoke show, you just say, you look so beautiful. Oh my God, your outfit looks so good. Oh, you look so great. And you know what? I don't think that's too much to ask. And then this is where things get interesting, honestly. This is the first time I've actually been interested in the Lexi-Jesse storyline. Lexi says Jesse has actually been hitting her up nonstop, constant texts, constant calls, and it's almost too much for her. Like, she's the one who's been needing to tell him to back off. And Amanda's like, whoa, like, I think Jesse is actually the jealous one, and he's trying to paint it like you're the jealous one to like get the flack off of him. And that is crazy that this is it, because it becomes a thing. They talk about it at the party and I was like, oh my God, I did not see this coming. Kyle tells Schwartz and Carl that he got a fertility testing kit sent to him because he got a red flag on his blood work and he wants to make sure everything is good. It's interesting because Amanda just seems so disinterested in having kids. I mean, anytime they bring up kids, they do a little flashback to when Kyle is like, oh, isn't it so weird that Lindsay's pregnant before us? And Amanda's like, nope, not weird at all. That's not weird. Here's the thing is that I'm not against an age gap couple in any way. Kyle and Amanda, I think, are 9 years. My parents are 10 years. My boyfriend and I are 5 years. But I think this is where the age gap kind of comes to play a bit because Amanda's 32, which, you know, in this modern era, we have so much technology to the point where you don't have to be a mom before you're 30 anymore. Like, you can be a mom when you're 35, 36, even older. But Kyle is 42. And so Kyle is like, man, I really thought that I would be a dad right now. And so this is where I think age gap relationships get complicated. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they figure this out. I mean, you know, does Kyle want to wait to be a dad until he's like in his late 40s, almost 50. I don't know. But then at the same time, Amanda is totally justified in saying it's my body and I don't want to be pregnant right now. And then Schwartz, Kyle is kind of asking him for advice, and Schwartz says that he does want kids, and he and Katie actually went to a fertility clinic together 4 years ago. It must have been on Vanderpump Rules because they show a flashback of it, but I just completely forgot that they ever did that. And it was apparently a year before they got divorced, so like, thank God they did not have a kid together. I bet Katie is so happy that that did not work out and they didn't have a kid together. And Kyle's just saying, yeah, I just really thought Amanda would want to have kids right now. And then he goes to the bathroom to jerk off. So the party is about to get started. West asks Amanda why Jesse is in trouble with Lexi, and Amanda fills him in on the whole thing. And even West is saying, like, you know what? Jesse does hit Lexi up a lot. It kind of is a lot. He says something about how they were driving and Jesse and Lexi were texting a lot, or they were talking. And then Jesse goes, okay, I'm going to call you back in just a bit. And West was like, damn, we're going to be at the house in an hour. Relax. Like, it's interesting that even West, who will stick up for Jesse no matter what, is noticing this. And then Amanda reveals that Lexi is actually the one who doesn't want to be official yet. And West is gagged at that because I'm sure Jesse is telling him the opposite. But this is interesting. A lot of things coming to light at this party. Everyone's outfits, by the way, are so cute. I want to copy this party idea. I don't have a house. I live in like a little condo. There's not enough room to host a party at all. But I want to copy this party idea so badly. Everybody's outfits are so cute, especially Amanda, Sierra, and Paige's. I just think it's so, so cool. I'm gonna copy that for something one day. Jesse says Lexi is still trying to decide whether or not she's upset with him tonight. And Lexi just comes over and he straight up asks her, he goes, are you upset with me? And she's like, yeah. And he goes, do you want to talk about it? And she's like, okay. So they go over to talk about it on one of the giant beds. And Lexi says, I feel like you're talking shit about me behind my back with all of this like yellow flags talk. And then she says that she's been told when she's not here, he acts like he's single, which we've seen that he does act like he's single. And then Jesse says he can't control what his friends say about him. And Lexi's like, okay, it's not about what they're saying about you. It's about how you're making them feel. And your actions are making other people feel icky about us. They're making them feel so concerned that they have to come talk to me about that. And then she's basically saying, she's like, you know, on the weekends, you act like we're just casual and having fun, but then during the week, we're suddenly so serious. Yeah, I can of course see why that would mess with somebody's head. It's like, make a decision. What kind of relationship do you want to be in? Like, it's totally obvious that, you know, during the weekends, Jesse has a lot more access to women, to single women, because he's partying in the Hamptons, so he's surrounded by single women. And then maybe during the week when he's back in Manhattan, I mean, obviously there are a lot of single women in Manhattan, but you don't have access to them at like a party or at a club unless you go out of your way to go there. And yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Like the way Jesse feels like he can kind of have his cake and eat it too. Like during the weekends he can have fun, but then during the week he's like so serious because Lexi is there and available to him. Then Lexi just straight up asks if she's done anything to make Jesse feel like she's flirting with other people, and he says no, which is interesting because he literally just brought up like last week or the week before that he felt like she was flirting with West. So it's interesting that he didn't try to weaponize it against her there. I mean, it's obviously good because I think he even knows that he has no foot to stand on with that. And she says she hasn't done anything to make him distrust her, but she has a whole laundry list of things that he's done to make her distrust him. And then Jesse says this is all making him resent his friends. He keeps bringing it back to the friends. He keeps saying like, oh, it's their fault for telling you. And it's like, no, you're essentially saying, I'm not sorry for what I'm doing. I'm sorry because I'm getting caught. That's essentially it. Like, you're not taking accountability for your actions at all. You're just essentially calling your friends snitches. Honestly, I am so proud of Lexi right now. It feels like she's an entirely different person than the person we've been seeing all season. And it makes me wonder if she's been a victim of a bad edit. Because in the beginning of the season, she looked like a total doormat. Like, they were really painting her out to just be that she was obsessed with Jesse and she was this jealous girlfriend and she just didn't didn't care about anything else besides being with him, and she was so blind to all of his red flags. But in this episode, she's so strong and she's so logical, and her arguments are so logical and calm. She's not yelling, she's not cursing at him or doing anything crazy. She's just being very confident and matter of fact. And it's interesting because I would not have expected that from her based on the edit we got of her this season. And then I'm not sure if this is an editing thing, but Jesse says he thought they were gonna leave this weekend being official, and Lexi is gagged. She's like, which is like, yeah, me too. You really think that you're ready to be official after all of this? Carl and Sierra talk to the side. In the confessional, Carl says he's hung out with a few girls this summer, but they're not Sierra. So I guess that means he and Lil are done. They never really said matter-of-factly if he and Lil are done, but it makes it sound like she's not gonna be around anymore. He wants to confess that he has a crush on her. He says it in the confessional, and I don't know how well that's gonna go. I don't think Sierra's into him like that. God bless his spirit. I think Sierra is like friendly with him. I think she admires him a lot and his journey being sober and things like that, but I don't think she's into him like that. Then Lindsay fills Paige in on Lexi and Jesse's fight. Basically everybody in the house is talking about Lexi and Jesse except like Carl. Everybody else is so tuned into this drama. And Paige says that Jesse isn't ready for a relationship with her. And Lexi goes over to them and says it's frustrating because there's nothing she can do to change things and it's all on him. And she doesn't like that he's blaming his friends for all of this. And then Jesse is talking to West inside, and he says that this whole thing makes it feel like his friends aren't his actual friends, which is so crazy. It's not like your friends are spreading lies. It's not like they made up the toe thing. The toe thing happened. It's not like they made up the fact that you're super flirty with other women. You are flirty with other women. They're literally just recounting events that happened to their other friend who they live with on the weekends. They live with Lexi on the weekends. You think she's not gonna find out about this stuff? It's so shady and manipulative the way he's trying to blame this on his friends. And then he says he feels like he's been changing his behavior and he's been so good, and then stuff gets brought up from 3 weeks ago. And it's like, okay, 3 weeks ago, you're talking about the same month. You're talking about in-month drama that's happening. This isn't stuff that happened 3 years ago. 3 weeks ago is very recent. I don't know why he's acting like, wow, you're still bringing stuff up that happened 3 weeks ago. Yeah, it was 3 weeks ago. And we only hang out together on the weekends. So it's like 3 weeks ago, that's 6 days of hangout time. Outside, Lexi tells Paige, Gabby, and Lindsay about last week at the club when Jesse said how she was with West was worse than the way he was when she was away. And Paige is like, Paige cannot believe that he said that. One thing I love about Paige is she will always call out her friend's boyfriend's toxic behavior. And then Lexi calls out his hypocrisy in the confessional. She's like, if I was doing the things that Jesse was doing, I would be in so much trouble. I'm so happy that we're finally getting to see this side of her, this strong side of her, because before, earlier in the season, I didn't hate her, but I definitely didn't care about her. I didn't think she was very cool. I didn't think she was very interesting. Now I'm starting to get a little interested. Now I think she is cool. And now I'm like, you know what? Maybe she will stick around for another season. Who knows? Paige tells Lexi that if someone says to her they have to change so much for her, then she should just walk away. Which is so true. You've literally known this man for what? A month? And he's already talking about, oh, I had to change my whole personality for you. I have to change everything for you. That's manipulative. That's a manipulative line, because you're essentially saying like, oh, I'm putting myself through all of these hoops for you. I'm jumping through all of these hoops, and this is all for you, so you better be grateful. And that's where the conversation ends. That's where the episode ends, kind of on that cliffhanger during the slumber party. In the preview for the next episode, it looks like before the party ends, Carl confesses his crush to Sierra. I really don't know how that's gonna go. I feel like it's gonna be kind of a gentle letdown. I don't think this is gonna be something that lasts the rest of the season. I have a feeling in the moment, Sierra's gonna be like, I'm very flattered, that's so sweet, and you're a dear friend, but I just don't feel the same way. Then Amanda and Kyle talk about having kids, and Kyle says, you know, I really thought that I was gonna be a dad right now. And then Amanda just is kind of like, I'm not ready, I don't want kids right now. And then Lexi potentially calls it off with Jesse. We'll see. They're kind of having a fight in the preview, and she's like, okay, let's not be exclusive then, I'm done, which I would love that. I would love if they just called it off next episode. I am kind of ready for the saga to be over, and I think she is too. And that was this episode of Summer House. It was a really good one. Maybe my favorite one of the season so far. It's been kind of an up and down season. Some episodes have been pretty good. Some have been kind of boring. I think this one was great. Don't forget, if you haven't seen it, I uploaded my recap of The Valley Season 2, Episode 2 a couple days ago, so you can check that out on the channel, and stay tuned for more recaps of The Valley and Summer House. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.